What is up, everybody? It's your buddy Dave. And we're going to try to figure this live chat thing out. So hopefully once you guys join in, you'll see. See if I can share this. Sorry, I'm new to the live chatting on the interweb here of sorts. Do this on Facebook and everything else, but YouTube boggles my mind. So hopefully y'all can see me. Whoever is there, pop in and say hi. Got some fun things to talk about. Need my Coke Zero, and we'll see what pops in here. So we are going to talk Chicago Auto Show coming up, and once again, I need to share this link. Aaron Powers, what's up, dude? Pardon the old background. I've got my office torn apart, so we can redo that as the new podcast studio for the time being. Sorry, Aaron. I'm trying to share this link, so I'm trying to figure that one out. So please ignore. There we go. All right, I got that. Once again, I feel like a fool here, but just what it is, I guess, because I'm new to all this. Hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday, though. Aaron, I'll be a little closer to you coming up. I'll be in Chicago very, very soon. All right, let's get this over to maybe I'll get it to the podcast page. Once again, my streams won't normally be this wacky for first timers, but trying to figure this out. All right, there, boom, shared. All right, there we go. All right, we're back. Let's see. Chop chop. I'll show that. So Chicago Auto Show. Yeah, let's get into this. So I will be flying up February 5th that night. There's a little meet and greet thing with the press at Nissan's holding. Should be there for that. Sadly, none of this is public, so it's just press that can be involved in it. But we are expecting Nissan to have a couple things out there. Let's get to that, Aaron. So Chicago we're expecting to have an updated Frontier, we will say, and that's about all I can say of that. I think they're going to work out the bugs in the final year of the current generation body style, and they're going to work out some bugs with some new things that they're underpinning of that truck. And then 2021, later this year, we'll see the next third generation Frontier. I'm super pumped about that truck just because. Well, I think everybody in the community is, because that truck's been out for 15 years. I mean, if you own it's almost as bad as you own one of the 2005 models. It's almost, and I know in my county or my state here, it would be considered a vintage vehicle. So it's almost to that. So that's kind of fun. But, it is what it is. Nissan, I've documented this over and over, but for new viewers, 2014-15, Nissan was working on a new Frontier. New management came in and said this is not up to standards, and so they scratched that and they started over. And so yeah, that's what's taken so long. And I would rather them take a little longer and get this one right, because the last truck was right, the first generation was right. Like, they're all been solid vehicles. Yeah, there's some early SMOD issues on the 05s through 9s a little bit, and it's just new technology they're using. That was part of it. Now, Nissan, you could say they didn't want to take care of that at first, but I think they were going to. I just think they needed to push, and a lot of people did push them. Let's see. You've been waiting for the new one. Well, the wait is almost over, Jason. The wait is almost over for that new Frontier, and I hope that it's here sooner than later, because I actually want to pick one up for the YouTube channel. It'll be a lot of fun content. And the idea is, if I know where I was told within Nissan, they told me what dealership was probably get the first allotments. I'm hoping to have a top of the line one and go hopefully straight to Colorado. And there's a couple off-road shops there that would probably love to get their hands on one of the first ones. So that's my plan. But yes, I'm with you, Jason. I am happy that it's not the Navara, even though I do like the Navara. I just think it wasn't the Navara. If you look at the interior and stuff, yeah, you can see upgrades and updates, but it wasn't enough. It was like kind of what Nissan got caught with their pants down with the Titan a little bit. By the time they released it to market, the market done shift a couple steps ahead. And I think that's what would have happened with the Frontier had they done the Navara. But anyways, I am for one, I'm super excited to go to Chicago. I've never been to Chicago. Chicago has been a bucket list city for me, except for the, places you can get shot. But I don't think where I'll be is too much concern. Now I say this and somehow it's like YouTuber killed in gun battle or something in a couple weeks. But is there anything? Obviously, we get a lot of Frontier questions, so I try to answer those best we can. The 2020 Titan will be there, so a lot of people get there first, kind of get to see it in person. I was really bummed that you didn't see the new 2020 Titan at the Houston Auto Show. I was bummed that you are in what was it? Somebody was New York area was showing up. Mike Nope at the NPC was showing. They were showing 19s. But Chicago is going to be the major kickoff. There's let's see, Chicago, New York, Detroit, and then at the end it's LA auto shows, and that's kind of their quarterly setup. Now your local place, like in Nashville, has an auto show here, and Nissan does roll out they do throw quite a bit at it, but I think they could always do more. I think for being Nissan's hometown that they don't they support the auto show, but they don't. I wish they would show some of their concepts and stuff here. Really like show the local people that work here the love. What's up, Mike? Let's see. Hey, buddy. A little of let down 19s. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. I don't know what to tell you on that one, man. It's I think really they're going to use Chicago because there's a lot of press from Chicago, and that's what you got to think. At some of the local auto shows that you can go to, a lot of it's dealer cars. So what happens is Nissan will tell the local dealership or local dealerships, hey, we're willing to give you a discount on these vehicles if you'll purchase them that we want, what we want at the auto show, whether it be a GTR or something like that. And once we're done with it for the week, then you take it to your dealership and sell it, and you're making just a little bit extra money on it. So I know a lot of them like doing that, but unfortunately, a lot of the littler shows, it's not like Nissan supported or Nissan directly. I was amazed the other day. Somebody from Cleveland, Ohio, was wanting to debate with me about he was going to get the insight. Like we had posted something on Facebook, and of course, social media is a cesspool of what it is. It's just people wanting to fight with each other, and I personally have that habit. I like to get in fights every once in a while, even though I've tried to back away from it. But so he was telling me that the Cleveland Auto Show is where it was at, and he was going to talk to this Nissan guy there, and he's given him the real scoop in the past, and I hated to break his heart and tell him that a lot of times the ladies and men that you see at the auto show talking about the cars are just models and people they've hired, like spokespeople they've hired from that local city to, look pretty and open doors for people in cars. So I hated to break his feelings and say that they're just telling you whatever you want to hear, but it is what it is. Let's see. All local dealers, Faulkner Nissan, which is, hey man, local dealers, they need their love too, Definitely. Let's see, Joe Taylor. Yes, I hit on it just a minute ago, Joe. It looks like it's going to be the Frontier is going to have some updates. And now, before people all freaking out, like oh great, once again they're not doing anything. This is the last year of the Gen 2 Frontier, so they're doing a short run of 2020s. And through the production stuff, I know for 2021. I would say if they don't release it at New York, which I wouldn't think they'd release it at New York now, I would say it's probably Detroit. It's the granddaddy of all the auto shows. It's where you would get the most press. And then production should ramp up late August at the Canton, Mississippi plant. Once you'll start seeing some mules floating around too. You'll see all the streamers and stuff. They're all going to start popping out with pictures of camouflaged up what they call frontiers, even though some of them are ridiculous. They keep showing the night sky concept, which is I don't know why, it's a badass truck, but let's stop clickbaiting our audiences and tell them that that's what it is. Let's see. Let's read here. But yeah, Joe, I think you're gonna. Well, I know you'll see the 2020 Titan, probably in all forms because the Chicago Auto Show is it's a fairly big show, so they get lots of room. Frontier, you're going to see some interesting things done to it, and then they've got a couple, I think, little special things. I think last year they released the Rogue Sport, the DJ Rogue Sport thing. I think they've got something like that planned. Let's see. Matt flew to Detroit show a couple years ago. Nissan barely showed their stuff. Yeah. I think, honestly, though, I think Matt, to say something to that, I think that auto shows are sort of dying. Like, manufacturers don't need auto shows like they used to. It's kind of a bummer because, like, especially Detroit, it's like the grandfather. Like, it's thought of as like, the granddaddy of American auto shows and almost globally. You've got like Detroit, you've got the Tokyo. I can't think of the one in Europe, up in Switzerland or wherever. There's a couple big ones, and that's about it anymore. But look, Chevrolet proved that rendering online. Chevrolet proved that they didn't need an auto show to show the new Corvette, right? The press will travel to you. Sometimes press is paid to be at these auto shows by manufacturers. They want some make sure the right people are there, or right people are talking about their stuff. So, but I know a lot of journalists doesn't like to take that money. They'd rather be independent, and so there's no swaying in their opinions. Let's see. But as far as back to that, sorry, Matt. As far as their show, those shows are expensive. Like, and if you don't have, they'll always do something, but if you don't have anything big coming out that year, why spend the millions of dollars? And especially Nissan right now, they're not in the best financial situation. They're not going bankrupt, as Carlos Ghosn says, but they shut down for 2 days. So that should tell them something that they're trying to reset. Let's see. New Rogue. We need one. Yeah, the camo one's popping around. Nissan is really cool about it. If you see camo vehicles popping around, they're usually 4 to 5 months from being ready. So, excuse me there. I do think that I don't think the Rogue's going to be a complete refurb. It's the outside and interior will be, but I think the underpinning's probably the same. And if it's broke, there's no reason to fix that. And since I believe that underpinning was for the second generation Rogue, I think it was a complete new design. I'm trying to remember. It's 2013, so it's been a while. But so I doubt they'll tune it a little bit, tune the suspension a little bit. But I doubt it'll be a complete overhaul. But you're going to get your Apple CarPlay, all that stuff in that. I think it's. I basically think on the Rogue, if you look at the new Altima, and you can imagine that front end on a Rogue, I think that's what you're going to see. Yeah, I don't see the Rogue getting a 9-speed, unfortunately. I had heard rumors within Nissan that they're trying to do away with CVT technology because it has hurt the brand quite a bit. I think all Nissan's problems within the brand is due to CVT stuff. So let's see. Oh, Jason, the rendering, yeah, you saw online, but I covered that a couple days ago for Instagram Live and Facebook Live. But yeah, the rendering you seen, that was lazy. That was lazy journalism. All they did was took a Titan, put Pro 4X Frontier rims on it, and then they put the LED light of a Tacoma on it, and we were trying to say this is what we think it'll look like. Many of you may know, you may not know, I've seen the Frontier. I've seen some very high. I have a photo I can't release of it, but I've seen renderings of it. That's not close, man. So the next Frontier, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a game changer. It's completely. They don't even have to call it a Frontier. They could use a brand new name for this truck. It's so different. Let's see. So frustrating. 20 Titans wasn't available yet. Yeah, I think 4 days is when they're going to put them on the website, Mike. So if you're interested in the 2020 Titan to kind of start building it, I think in 3 or 4 days, maybe Monday or two. Well, this is Sunday. I forget. I seen something pop up the other day about that. So maybe you'll see that really, really soon, where you can actually build it. And I do expect the price of the truck to go up, but not a few $100s on each package. I don't think it'll go up considerably because even though it is an upgraded, they've redone a lot of it. They've still got to be competitive, and it's a truck that doesn't sell well at the moment, so they're not going to want to jack the prices up. Let's see. I see that a lot, Matt, and I appreciate I do have a lot of people that say, "Man, I wish I could work with them," or that Nissan paid. They do pay attention. I will say that. Well, since we're new to YouTube Live, and I say this on the podcast quite a bit, but Nissan screen captures a ton of stuff. They're on whatever your forums are. If you're an old school forum guy, if you're on Facebook or whatever, they screen capture a lot of things that people they're looking for market shifts. And it's, social media is a great way for to understand how the market is shifting. But a lot of times, and I was told, it's in an interview with Brett Hagan, who is he was a product planner for Nissan. Now he's future product planning for Truckline, and he said it. And it just sticks with me, man. If you ever have a beef, something wrong with your Nissan or whatever ideas, and you put it on there, like Nissan's social media page, you got to put a positive spin to it so they can take it to the management and say, look, man, this is how they're doing it. But if you kind of just stick your finger up to Nissan and say, man, why are y'all not listening? Why is this and that? Why aren't they doing anything? Why Nissan? It's hard for them to want to justify wanting to screen capture that and and send it upstairs. Let's see. The new Frontier will be sexy. I think so. Like I said, I can't wait to get my hands on one. Motor One is pretty terrible in general. It's a clickbait site for the most part. The old days of even your Road and Track and a lot of these places now, the days of like great journalism for those magazines, those well thought about magazines and stuff, are over. Because everybody's attention span is 15 seconds and they're on to the next thing. So they're all trying to get eyes on their social media, and that's how they're trying to generate revenue. And so now it's just clickbait central. And I've called a few of them out. Of course, here on Insta or YouTube, we're only 1,000 subscribers right now. So our yelling power isn't too loud just yet, but it's getting there. And I hate to see that because all they do is they just set these all the fanboys of whatever vehicle it is, they all start getting pissed off at each other. No, this article said this and that. Until you see it, Nissan will send me some pre-pictures of whatever they're doing at Chicago or if it's a new model, but there's embargoes. So I'm not allowed to break that embargo or else I get in a lot of trouble with them. So if we get things like SEMA this year, I got all those photos before they were released, and I was damn careful not to let those out. Now, somebody broke the embargo, and I know they got in trouble within Nissan, but it's always a race to be first. Everybody wants to be first and to get it out there, which we're just as guilty of. Let's see. Any Xterra rumors? No, not at this time. BRYB, nothing. Nissan's pretty sneaky, though. Wouldn't surprise me. The Frontier does need a build partner. I think them ever calling it Xterra is probably over. I think maybe a Terra. And I could see them bringing the Filipino Terra and the one that's in all over Asia right now. I could see them bringing that truck or that SUV here to the States. It would need some within Nissan itself. I've talked to them about that, and people that's been in that vehicle said it's a little cheap on the interior, so it would have to be plushed out just a little bit. But let's see. Nissan needs to sponsor an overland channel. Well, it seemed to help Toyota, right? Given a particular channel a bunch of new Tacomas and 4Runners, right? I've actually talked to Nissan PR about that, and once again, they do pay attention to that stuff, because we don't see. Once again, everybody's, our attention spans 15 seconds because we don't see Nissan or any big company make the moves we want them to make when we think they should make them. Doesn't mean they won't. I know they invited the Rogue Overland guys who aren't Nissan exclusive, but they're definitely heavy Nissan to the Titan Adventure because they wanted their opinions on that new truck, and they were very impressed with those guys. So if you haven't yet, go to Rogue Overland here and subscribe to what they do, man. Those are super good guys, man. They do it for the right reasons. Let's see. Do I see the Nismo having anything on the Frontier? I actually do think that Nismo is making a comeback. I've heard talk of something special within Nismo, but then again, if you're here in America, you know how Nismo is. Like their attention's their squirrel moments, man. It's like, oh, car shiny car over here. Oh, something over here, and they don't. American Nismo is like in a closet. Like their office space is like they don't have, like, if this was in Japan, dude, if Japan was interested in off-road vehicles the way we are here in the States, dude, it'd be Nismo everything, man. It'd be nuts. Let's see who else we got here. Yeah, I think Nismo, I talked about this on a podcast, and it's been probably 3 or 4 ago. Nismo's just, I don't understand Nismo. And I think it's a lack of funding here in the States of why we don't understand it. The car culture is not what it used to be, with like Z's and all that. Once again, you go to Japan, man. And of course, even within Japan, there's all these people that are just like plushing out. There's these little small shops that do a ton of parts that Nismo probably can't do. And I think Nismo too ultimately has an issue with their it's part of Nissan. And then you get into restrictions of emission stuff, whether it be the tuning the exhaust or we don't live in a simple country anymore. So every state has goofy requirements. And I think that's what makes it a nightmare for Nismo here in the States. Let's see. Pathfinder getting a 9-speed automatic. I can't say anything about that right now. Let's see. A strong look and spirituality of adventure. Strong look, definitely. I always love. I'm amazed that. Yeah, I read that. It's been several months ago when I read that when he took over that about the Frontier, and I think probably it was supposed. I can't say it for certain, but I was 99% sure they were going to show it Chicago Auto Show. And I guarantee you all these new leaderships are trying to put their little mark on this truck. So I think that's probably what's delaying it. Let's see. Yes, X-Overlands, yeah. Is Mitsubishi truck going to be the next Frontier? No. Not yet. There was talks, and I'm sure you've read about it. There was talks of, since Mitsubishi's like well known for their off-road vehicles, of them actually building the next Frontier. I could see Gen 4, but I don't think, sorry, my son's being loud with a bag. I think Generation 3 has been done for a while. I think the underpinning of the framing of all the truck is not really going to change, my understanding. So it would be too late for, because a lot of people don't realize it's $1 billion to develop one vehicle, and that's $1 billion. So that's not even the retooling part of it. That's development. So I think by the time all the money was spent, Mitsubishi, when that merger happened, that it was just too late. Let's see. Pro 4X Nismo. Yeah, aren't we all 50? Maybe. Let's see. All right, Mike, have a good one, buddy. Let's see. Couldn't Nismo simply contact somebody within Ford does with Shelby? They sort of do. Look at Z1 Motorsports. They are a big thing for Nissan. They're very well connected to Nissan, and I know is it M&A Motorsports who did some of the SEMA builds. They're pretty connected within Nissan, and maybe that's future plans, but I don't know. Nissan, man, that's the problem with the littler companies. You start seeing the talent shine through, and then all the big companies just start picking away at their talent. So I think that's probably part of the problem of why some of the Nismo stuff maybe not sticking around like we would hope. Let's see. Will we still be getting the Dana 44 under the Frontier? I have no idea on that. I would think so. I mean, it's a Dana 44 variant, but I don't see them changing the rear axle. I think there was talk at one time of them maybe doing something Raptor-like, and maybe then you're doing coils and stuff, and maybe upgrade to something wrong. Sorry, son's looking at me. Once again, I am in my living room here, so
you get the whole family watching.
I know. Normally, I'm in my office, but it's torn apart at the moment because I'm redoing my studio. Let's see. I hope the IMS concept previews the next generation Maxima. I do think that the next Maxima will be electrified. This is all speculation on my part, but the Maxima is in a weird zone right now of the Altima's killed sales of that car. Yeah, it's a little bit more plush, and it's supposed to be the sporty version. It's supposed to be the four-door sports car, but I do see where they make an all-wheel drive kind of something to take on the Tesla. I could see that happening, honestly, in the next couple of years, because Maxima is due to be next gen. Let's see. I think we've talked about this before, man. I seriously thinking I'm waiting on the next Frontier because of deciding between the Titan Pro 4X and Pro 4X Frontier. I feel like you're the one that asked me that question a while back. I'm a mid-sized truck guy. I have a full-size Titan. It's been great. If you're subscribed here, you've probably watched our review on that. We've got one more review we're about to do, and then that truck goes back to Nissan. The full-size truck is great, man. That V8, you gotta love that V8. But I'm more of a mid-size. I've had two Frontiers that I've really loved. They've probably been my favorite trucks, due probably to the size of it. I can still do whatever I need, whether it be throw a little mulch or anything, throw the trash truck, whatever you need to do with it. We still do that. Towing's not bad. Generally, I don't tow anything super heavy, so that's always good for me. But if I had to pick right now, I'm going to wait on the Frontier. I do like, if you've seen my review of the Titan, the new 2020 Titan, my first chance at driving it, they have improved that truck quite a bit. The new Apple CarPlay and all that in it's really nice. Obviously the large screen, the 9-inch screen that you can get in the Pro 4X and the Platinum is really nice. I think you can get it in the SV too. The new LEDs and stuff they're running on it's really nice. The Pro 4X Titan, man, the way they blacked out all the badges with the red Nissan in it and stuff, all the red stitching in the truck and stuff. They finally some attention to some details. I think I fussed about it in my 17 in the passenger side. Between the top of the dash and the glove box, there's a piece of trim that just doesn't even belong there. It was like some weird afterthought, but they fixed all that stuff. Let's see. Joe Taylor, do you wait, did I miss something? Let's see. Joe Taylor, do you think Nissan has a strategy to come back and be a better player in the American market? I think they should look at themselves, the early 2000s, the successes they've made there. There's been a lot of talk of Carlos going with that, Joe. He saved the company, blah, blah, blah. For one, Carlos he was a minor player within Renault at the time that when Renault came in and bailed Nissan out. Like, I think people tend to forget that that wasn't his idea. It wasn't him. he was put in charge of all that because he was known as the cost cutter. Like he could come into a new company. He did it within Michelin a couple times, and within Brazil, they weren't profitable. So he changed some things in Brazil for Michelin tires, and then I forget where else he worked at. Maybe Germany, I forget. But he was known to being able to come into a company and slash things. I think his ego though cost Nissan more than it helped in the end. And I think their rental car business they've been trying to do with pushing volume. Like Nissan was never a volume company, even though they sold quite a bit of vehicles in the States. They were never about being global leaders. And I think between the French influence within Renault and Ghosn himself, I think he's actually damaged the company. Do I think they'll come back? Yeah, I do. Nissan's they're not like a Mitsubishi or somebody who never got a foothold in America. Like they've had a foothold in here since the 70s. A pretty solid foothold within the Z community and then the little trucks. Even in the 80s, like once they came to America and started building trucks and cars here, it helped them a lot. So yeah, I think they'll come back. I think the refresh that you're about to see, I think 70 or 80% of within 18 months was supposed to be refreshed. They've already started that with the new Sentra and Versa. So I do think they need to step design up a little more and take a little more chances. A Nissan Sentra with a turbo engine would be nice. It would be nice. Jason, the half ton is, I won't say they're thirsty, but I'll average anywhere from 13 to 15 in town, and on the highway, I can get 20. So I've gotten 21 before, but it was pushing it pretty good. That was light on the feather. So the next frontier, I am expecting some better MPGs on that because I used to average 18 on the highway, 19 with my frontier, pretty easy. Let's see. Ghosn killed Nissan while he was helpful in cutting the fat. Initially, he destroyed what made Nissan great. That is very true. Nissan, when they were in trouble in the 90s of all the fun cars now are from the 90s, all the rear wheel drive cars that everybody wants to be a 240 or, the Silvias in Japan and all that. That's all the cars that are popular now and people want. I just think sometimes Nissan's they're way too ahead of the game. And sometimes now they're just too far behind it. So, understand why Nissan paired the VC turbo with the CVT transmission. Well, Infiniti in general is not selling well at all. Infinity's making some changes. They'd moved to Hong Kong. They moved their headquarters to Hong Kong. Now they're moving their headquarters back to Japan. I did some. It's been almost a year ago, but I did a show where I don't even think Nissan needs Infiniti anymore. Personally, I know some of my friends that are moving to Infiniti from Nissan would argue that, but within the car, like. I almost don't think like Cadillac and all these higher brand cars are needed anymore just because it used to be, like a lot of the early tech would be developed and put into cars. People had some extra cash so they could, kind of offset the cost for the common man, like, the North Star engine and all that garbage GM used to have. But I just don't see like Infinitis. They rob more resources than they're bringing in. Now, yeah, you're charging more of a premium price for it, and I broke it down as the Armada versus the QX80. And yeah, QX80 can run you $90,000, where an Armada can run you, probably 50 to 60 high end. So yeah, there's probably more profit there, but it's two design staffs for the same underpinning. I don't know. I'm not, and I've owned Infiniti. I had a G35 that I loved. But once again, all that was a rebadged Nissan Skyline from Japan. Let's see. And as far as CVT transmission, yeah, they've got to step away from that. They really do. And I think the newer transmissions they're coming out with is a sign that they might. Let's see. Joe Taylor, oops. Never saw what they looked like before, in the 90s and before. Joe, come on, buddy. Don't watch a Nissan show and not check it out. But anyways, well, guys, I am about to wrap this up. This was sort of an experiment. I wanted to see if anybody would pop in. We have super chats now on this thing. So if you want to support the show, and that's an easy way to do it. So I always appreciate those. We do have a Patreon. It's in the link. We have a Patreon if you want to support the show that way. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying if you want to. But the best way is when you're watching our videos, watch the commercials. That helps support the podcast, and we do appreciate it. So maybe we can get Danny on one of these, and we can all attack Danny and let y'all ask Danny questions. Thanks, Matt. Like, these will get better too, guys. I do these on Instagram and Facebook, but I'd rather do them here on YouTube. Let's see. Was there a last question back in the day? It was our reason. Yeah. Well, initially, with Infiniti and even Alexis, they were just all rebadged Japanese cars that you couldn't get here because they were trying to quickly get in the market. Anymore, though, I like the Q50 and all that, but it's too expensive. And you talk about old. Look at the interior of those cars. So anyway, guys, I am out. So from All Things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to wherever you're watching us around the globe, this has been a live chat with Dave. Peace.